How much of your life is actually your fault? Not as an insult, not as motivation, just as a question. Because most people live with an answer they never consciously chose. Some people believe almost nothing is their fault. Others believe almost everything is. Both positions feel reasonable, and both hide something important. If nothing is your fault, then failure does not hurt as much. If everything is your fault, then success feels earned. But neither answer explains why effort works for some people and not for others. And neither explains why two people can try just as hard and end up in very different places. So before talking about genes, discipline, or mindset, we have to ask what responsibility actually means. There is a version of this question that feels comforting. It says, your personality explains your limits, your anxiety explains your avoidance, your lack of motivation explains your inconsistency. You did not choose your brain. You did not choose your stress response. You did not choose how easily you get overwhelmed. And all of that is true. When you hear that, something loosens inside you. You stop blaming yourself for struggling and stop feeling defective. But there is a cost to this way of thinking, because once everything has an explanation, nothing demands change. Life becomes something that happens to you. Patterns repeat, and responsibility slowly fades into the background, not because you are lazy, but because you no longer feel involved. Then there is the opposite answer. The idea that your life is exactly what you deserve, that discipline beats biology, that mindset overrides temperament, that anyone can succeed if they push hard enough. At first, this feels empowering. If everything is your fault, then everything is under your control. But this belief has a bad side, because when effort does not pay off, there is nowhere to place the weight except on yourself. Why do others stay consistent while you struggle? Why does focus feel painful instead of energizing? Why do you burn out when others accelerate? The conclusion becomes simple. Something is wrong with me. This belief does not produce growth. It produces shame. And shame does not make people stronger. It makes them brittle. What you did not choose. To answer this question honestly, we need to separate what you chose from what you inherited. You did not choose your baseline energy. You did not choose how reactive your nervous system is. You did not choose how your brain processes reward, stress, or novelty. But genetics do not stop at psychology. You did not choose your body either. Your height, your bone structure, your muscle fiber distribution, your natural strength ceiling, your recovery speed. Two people can train with the same intensity and discipline and get very different results. Not because one wants it more, but because their bodies respond differently to stress and effort. It's not unfairness, but simply biology. And the same applies to cognition. You did not choose how fast you process information, how easily you learn abstract concepts, and how much mental effort complex thinking costs you. IQ does not determine your worth, but it does influence how certain paths feel. Some people grasp patterns quickly. Others need repetition. Some can hold complex ideas in their head with little strain. Others get mentally exhausted doing the same work. These differences are real. Ignoring them does not make you ambitious. It makes you reckless. All of this shapes how hard certain goals feel before effort even begins. And denying that reality does not make you responsible. It just makes you confused. This is the part most people miss. Responsibility does not begin with who you are, but with what you do once you understand who you are. Your genes do not decide your future, but they do define your range. They set physical ceilings. They shape cognitive effort. They decide where friction appears first. They decide which paths cost you more energy, which habits drain you faster, which environments push you toward burnout. Once you see that, something changes. Continuing to chase goals that clearly fight your limits becomes a choice, not a moral failure, a strategic one. If you know your body breaks down under certain demands and you ignore it, that part is on you. If you know certain types of work exhaust your mind and you still force yourself into them, that is on you too. I'm not telling you to lower your ambitions, but to aim intelligently. This is the paradox. You are not responsible for your limits, but you are responsible for pretending they do not exist. If you ignore biology, you punish yourself unnecessarily. If you hide behind biology, you stop growing. Both are ways of avoiding responsibility. Real responsibility sits in the middle. It says, this is my range. This is where things get harder for me. So my life must be built accordingly, not smaller, but more precise. Most people do not fail because they lack discipline. They fail because they are chasing goals that reward different genetics, different bodies, different brains, different tolerances. They follow advice built for people with different capacities. They add goals when they need limits, and they push when adaptation would work better. And when it does not work, they blame themselves. But the problem was never effort. It was misalignment. So how much of your life is actually your fault? Not the body you were born with, not the mind you inherited, not the limits you did not choose, but what you do once those limits become clear. Fault does not mean guilt. It means responsibility after understanding. Once you know what drains you, ignoring it is a choice. Once you know what supports you, avoiding it is a choice. That is where responsibility lives. I hope this video was useful to you. And if it was, feel free to follow me.